To the dispute.
So this is a dispute that goes back more than a century. Effectively, Venezuela didn't agree with the way it was drawn up, Guyana, which was under, at the time, British rule. So in 1899, it was settled by an arbitration court, but Venezuela never wanted to recognize that. So it was only when there were huge offshore oil and gas finds in the Essequibo region that Venezuela has renewed its interest in this particular area of Guyana. So I think, this is a lot of critics are saying this is posturing. Some people thought, well, will Venezuela actually do anything? But there's real concern now, as you said, with increasing of troops on the border. Guyana, of course, is very on it and on standby and very concerned. It's spoken to the UN, and meanwhile here in Brazil, of course, they're also bolstering the troops up on the border with Venezuela.
And what was the result of this referendum, Katie, and the issues that arose out of that?
So there were 5 questions, effectively all relating to whether this Essequibo region should fall under Venezuelan territory. And overall, to all the questions, it was about 95% in favour of Venezuela. Now, it has to be said, there is talk about low turnout. There's a real criticism that this is ahead of the elections next year, that Nicolas Maduro is trying to bolster support and nationalism ahead of what could be a very difficult vote, because of course there's a lot of pressure on him to make sure that these elections are free and fair, with growing popularity of an opposition leader, these are all things that he's very much under pressure to try and show his popularity. But beyond that, whether that's a domestic thing that it's playing out regionally, it's become much more of a concern.
And what is Brazil saying in terms of the reasoning behind the deployment of troops down to that border, Katie?
So Brazil is seen with Lula da Silva more of an ally with Venezuela quite often, but his administration has voiced concern about any aggression. The border with Venezuela, so the troops are in the state of Roraima, near Boa Vista, the city, and that city has had presence of troops because of what's been happening in Venezuela with insecurity, with the economic situation. There's definitely been more of a presence over the last few years of troops, but what they're saying is, that they're bolstering not just the number of troops, but also armoured vehicles there as well, with a real concern of aggression going forward.
Katie Watson, a 3-year-old boy has become the smallest and one of the youngest recipients of a kidney transplant in Northern Ireland. Ollie Cartmill weighed just 13 kilos, that's 29 pounds, when he had the life-saving operation, receiving a kidney donated by his grandmother, Michelle. Stephen Watson has the story.